The main event, the most important, the most anticipated match of the night. WrestleMania 1 wasn't just about what happened inside the ring. It was a celebration of popular culture. The match was Hulk Hogan and Mr. T versus Paul Orndorff and Rowdy Piper. The venue, Madison Square Gardens. Liberace sat inside the front row. Muhammad Ali stepped in as a special guest referee. The first WrestleManias, they followed a very clear formula. Which celebrities can we bring in? And how do we get Hulk Hogan over? 1993, WrestleMania number 9, it was Bret Hart versus Yokozuna. And Hulk Hogan still walks away as the champion in that match. As WWE transitioned away from Hogan, WrestleMania remained true to its roots, staying in tune with pop culture. But over time, it became less about the celebrity cameos and more about the in-ring talent. Still, whether it's a hit or a miss, WWE tried to mirror current cultural moments. WrestleMania 35 main event was Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair in a winner-take-all match. Becky Lynch wins. But also important to the story is in 2011, UFC CEO Dana White famously said, "Women will never fight inside the UFC." By 2013, that statement had already aged poorly, because UFC 157, Ronda Rousey versus Liz Carmouche, headlined the event. Ronda Rousey went on a legendary winning streak until she ran to Holly Holm. After that loss, she was never quite the same. But to be fair, the women's division inside the UFC had evolved. So Ronda made what in hindsight looked like a lateral maneuver and jumped from the UFC to the WWE. The result, the first woman to headline a UFC is now the first woman to main event a WrestleMania. She, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair stood on the shoulders of some incredible women that came before them. But something interesting is the first all-women's main event WrestleMania happened 1 year after the Me Too movement went global. Coincidence? Maybe. 2 years later, we saw another first. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, 2 black women main event WrestleMania. It was a monumental moment, but the timing of the moment is hard to ignore. Because in 2020, the country was a powder keg of emotions. On May 25th, the world witnessed the murder of George Floyd at the hand of a Minneapolis police officer. Half of the country believed the punishment was far too severe for the crime he had been accused of. The other half wanted to be antagonizing. As protests erupted worldwide, the WWE took notice. Now, I fully believe that Banks and Belair were worthy of a main event before 2021, but the timing of the historic moment, right after a reckoning with racial injustice, it's not lost on me. This also happened during another one of the WWE's firsts. WrestleMania became a 2-night event. Banks and Belair closed out night 1. AEW and TNA are 2 other wrestling promotions that have booked black talent inside their major events, but not before the year 2020. But to be absolutely fair, AEW All In started in 2018 and took a break from 2019 to 2022. TNA's Bound for Glory started in 2005. So we've seen more women and more black wrestlers inside of major events coinciding with social movements. Some may call this progress, and some may call this corporate pandering. Question is, if what you want is representation, does the motive behind it really matter? And if what you want is to truly be celebrated and not just tolerated, would you even be able to tell the difference? But these are societal questions and not just questions of wrestling.